Hello everyone, so this is the session number 13, that is the quality enhancement models in the subject of food safety and quality assurance. So what are the different quality models we'll be discussing in detail? The HACCP. The HACCP system was introduced in the United States in the Pillsbury Company in the collaboration with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, and the US Academy. These agencies had an initial responsibility for designing and manufacturing food products and hardware, which were to provide 100% assurance and either the food products would not be contaminated with pathogens, bacteria, or viruses which could cause illness, and the equipment would function with zero defects. The HACCP system has become the internationally recognized system for the management of the food safety for all companies involved in the production, transformation, storage and distribution of food for human consumption. It has been adopted by the European Union for the all food processors and the Codex Alimentarius Commission as a principal food safety system. The HACCP concept involves the identification of specific hazards to the entire process involved in the production of the food product and focuses on the preventive measures for the control to assure the quality and safety of the food. This includes analysis of raw material, sources and uses, processing equipment, operating practices, packaging and storage, together with marketing and conditions for intended use. There is reliance to the traditional system of end product testing, and food safety is built into the product from conception through design and distribution. Hygiene codes. The hygiene codes work on a common HACCP system with predetermined critical control points. The hygiene codes are basically, but not exclusively, established for the small and medium-sized enterprises or even shops like butcheries and bakeries with limited manpower, where the critical control points have been predetermined. A common HACCP system for the group of products or enterprises mentioned above is applied to develop hazard analysis and risk assessment for that group community and to incorporate standard controls, preventive measures, and corrective actions into the hygiene code. This hygiene code has been applied directly by the operators of the hygiene group or branch. Hygiene codes cover in a systematic way those elements which are laid down in the legislation to comply the basic matters or hygiene and good manufacturing practices and to provide the conditions to ensure the safety of food products. Hygiene codes assist inspection bodies on their assignment to inspect the relevant items of the implemented system. Now, what is BRC? BRC is the British Retail Consortium. The BRC originated in the United Kingdom. Retail branded products represent over 50% of the food sold in the UK. Under the term of the Food Safety Act 1990, retailers have an obligation to take all reasonable precautions and exercises all due diligence in the avoidance of failure, whether in the development, manufacture, distribution, advertising, or sale of food product to the consumer. That obligation in the context of retailer branded product included the verification of technical performance at food production sites. Until recently, each retailer undertook this activity separately, verifying food production site performance against their individual internally developed standards. In some instances, verification is undertaken by the retailer's in-house technologists, and in other instances by third-party inspection bodies. Technical inspection of supply companies' production premises forms other only part of the retailer's due diligence system, and the acceptance of a company to supply rests with the individual retailers. Major retailers like Ahold in the Netherlands and Metro in Germany are the favors of having PRC as an international standard. The PRC has developed a technical standard for those companies supplying retailer branded food products. The standard has been developed to assist retailers in the fulfillment of legal obligations and protection of the consumer by providing a common basis for the inspection of companies supplying retailer branded food products. It has encompassed the fundamental principles of the retailer's current standard and is intended to incorporate into standards by the third party inspection bodies. It is not intended to replace the requirements of any legislation. Whether legislation requires a higher standard for a specific industry sector, the standard will be reviewed on a regular basis by the BRC membership and revised where considered appropriate. Europe GAP, that is the Euro Retailer Produce Working Group Good Agricultural Practices. The objective of the Europe, which is made up of leading European food leaders is to raise standard for the production of fresh fruits and vegetables. In November 1997, they agreed on the first draft protocol of GAP. This represented the first step towards the integrated production. In September 1998, the Europe initiated pilot trial projects to verify the implementation of the Europe GAP in the field. They were conducted together with advanced producers in Spain and Italy. The prepared document sets out on a framework for GAP on farms, which defines essential elements for the development of best practice of the global production of horticultural products, example fruits, vegetables, potatoes, salad, cut flowers, and nursery stock. It defines the minimum standards acceptable to the leading retail groups in Europe. However, standards for some individual retailers and those adopted by some growers may exceed those described. The document does not set out to provide prescriptive guidance on every method of agricultural production. SQ for Safe Quality Food is a HACCP quality system designed in Australia specifically for companies in the agri-food industry. The code is aligned with the Codex Alimentarius Commission guidelines for the application of HACCP. SQ focuses on food safety and quality issues including GMP, SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, and HACCP, and is compatible with the ISO 9000 standard. The code has been set specifically developed for the food industry to include rural producers, processors, transport, storage, catering, and hospital industry. EHEDG, a European Hygiene Equipment Design Group. The EHEDG is a consortium of equipment manufacturers, food industries, research institute, and public health authorities formed in 1989 with the aim to promote hygiene during the process and packing of food products. European legislation requires that handling, preparation, processing, and packaging of food products is done hygienically with hygienic machinery and hygienic premises. How to comply with these requirements, however, is left to the industry. As food safety does not end to the borders of Europe, the EHEDG actively promotes global harmonization of guidelines and standards. The US-based organization such as National Science Foundation, NSF, and 3A, that is sanitary standards, have agreed to cooperate in the development of EHEDG guidelines, and in turn EHEDG cooperates in the development of 3A and NSF standards. Well, that's all for this session. Thank you.